I'm going to activate the first version of TensorFlow. So here I'm using GPU, so we can run it faster. Okay, so this is the vanilla autoencoder. We have the encoder part, the decoder part, and here we have one center hidden layer. Okay, so let's start with our code here. Okay, so what we have the input dimensions. We have the hidden layer, which is a list containing the numbers of the nodes for each hidden layer in the encoder. Okay, so for the encoder part, we are going to take each node from this list, and for the decoder part, we are going to take, let's say, the reversed lists and take the nodes from the last to the first one. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the encoder part, encoder model. The first thing is the input. I'm just going to call it the input, which is the layer that contains the input with the shape, the input dimensions that we have. Okay, so let's import this Keras. The input layer with shape, the input dimension that we have. Okay, so this is my first layer. Let's call it for the next layer x. Okay, so the x will take at first the input, and then I'm going to loop over the hidden layers. Okay, sorry. So for, let's call it L in the hidden layer list. Okay, so X here will take a dense layer. The number of nodes will be L in that list. And then I think we want the activation function to be the ReLU. Okay, so activation is equals to ReLU. Okay. Okay, so this is my first hidden layer, which will take my input. Okay, so then I am going to, after having all these hidden layers, I'm going to have my output, which is also a dense layer. Okay, so my output will have my latent dimensions. Okay, so my latent dimensions is the dimensions here that I wanted in the center hidden layer. Okay, so I have it as an argument here. Okay. Okay, and my activation will be also the ReLU activation function. Okay, so this one will take my last hidden layer. Okay, so this is for my encoder here. I have my output and then my content dimension as output. Then I'm going to construct my my model. I'm just going to call it encoder. Sorry, I'm going to use model. Okay, my input will be my first input, and my output will be the output that I just coded. Okay, So this is my model, my encoder model. Now let's move to my decoder model. Okay, so as I already did in the first part, it's almost the same thing, but we have to do the reversed list of the hidden layers. Okay, so I'm just going to call it, for example, my input 2. Okay, it's going to take a dense layer. It's going to take an input layer. Okay. Okay, so the shape here is going to be the latent dimensions. Okay, because here we have for the decoder here, for the decoder part, it should take as input my my latent dimensions. Okay, and for my output the input dimension. Okay, so my shape here will be my latent dimension. Okay, so this is for the input of my decoder. Now, like I did in the first part, my X will take my input 1. Okay, and then I'm going to look over the hidden layers. So let's call it for L. I'm going to take the reversed lists. Okay, so I'm just going to call this function that will reverse my list. Okay. So my X will take the dense layer. And then it's going to take my L. Okay, after this I have the activation function as ReLU. Okay, and this one will take my X. Okay, so this is for my hidden layers. Now for the output layer, it will be, I'm going to call it output 2. Okay, so my output layer will have the dimensions of my input. Okay, so it's going to be the dense layer. Is going to be my input dimensions, and then my activation will be as it says here. My activation will be sigmoid. Okay, so the last one should be sigmoid. Okay, so this one will take my X, my previous X. Okay, so this is for my layers. Now I'm going to construct my model, my decoder model. So I'm just going to call it decoder. Decoder will be tf.keras model. As input, it will be input 2, sorry. And as output, it will be output 1. Okay, output 2, sorry. Okay, so this is my encoder and my decoder. Okay, so it's like two separate models, but now I'm going to construct my autoencoder that will in a way concatenates both of these models. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to call it auto equals to my the concatenations, let's say with both the models. Sorry. Okay, so as input, it will take the first input, the input of my encoder. Okay. So it's going to take as input okay, and as output it will be output. Okay, so here we need to do something. Is we don't need the output of my last layer of the decoder, but we need the model to wrap the encoder with in the decoder. Okay, so what we need to do here is to put the decoder that will receive my encoder input. Okay. So it might be this one is the only tricky thing in this task. Okay, so this is the decoder and the encoder are in some way wrapped together. Okay, so this is how we construct the autoencoder. Okay. Okay, so now we need to compile our model. The optimizer it should be Adam, like they said. So optimizer is equals to Adam. And for my loss function, it's going to be the binary cross entropy. It should be written like this, I think. Okay. Okay, so I did the compilation of my model. Now I will return all the three models. I will return the encoder, the decoder, and the autoencoder. Okay. Okay, so I hope I didn't do something wrong. Okay, let's just try it. Sorry guys, I don't know why it's taking this long. And then this is your test function. So I'm going to test it here. Okay, so I put input 1. Okay. Okay, so it works. It's going to run over 50 epochs until it's finished. Do you have some questions, guys? Okay, so Khawla, the third task, do you mean the variational autoencoder? Because as you know, I can't code or correct all your project, because there are some students that didn't finish it yet. So I know it's a bit challenging, but you need to do it by yourself. I will, if you have some questions, I will be happy to answer it. Otherwise, you might I might reach you to Slack if you have, for example, a red checker that it didn't work correctly. I will help you. Okay. Okay, so this is my output. It seems all okay. Now the first task is the sparse autoencoder. Okay, so the difference between sparse autoencoder and the first one is that here we don't need to have let's say the dimension of the hidden layer or the center hidden layer is less than the input or the output. Okay, so here we have for example, we can have the same number of dimensions as the input layer, but we need to deactivate some layers. Okay, so we need to use some let's say some tricks, like for example the regularization. Okay, so in this task we are going to use the L1 regularization. Okay. Okay, so this is why we call it sparse autoencoder, because we are going to deactivate some activation functions. Okay, so in the last we will have, for example, here just two nodes that will be activated. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take this prototype here. Okay, so we have this argument, the lambda argument, that will be my parameter for the L1 regularization. Okay, and they said that we need to do this L1 regularization just on the encoded output. Okay, so not with all the layers, but just with the encoded output. Okay, so let's go. Let's start. Okay, so it's basically the same thing as the first one here. So I'm just going to take it. Okay, so the main difference is that we are going to add my term of regularization, and we need it to be in our output for the encoder. Okay, so I'm going to add it right here. I'm going to add the regularization in the activity function. So activity regularizer, it's going to be my Keras. So with Keras it's pretty simple. Okay, .l1, and it's going to take as argument my lambda. Okay, so this is my regularizer. Okay, it's the only difference between the two tasks. I'm just going to verify this. Okay, so it is on my encoded output. Okay, and then I have sigmoid and value function as usual. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, so it's working just fine, and it had the same let's say results as the first one. Okay, so we can see here the difference between both of the models, but In other cases, for example, if you have a big amount of data, it will be really simplest and easiest if we use the sparse autoencoder, because we will gain some space memory and sometimes, okay? Okay, so the third one is the convolution autoencoder, which is basically the same thing as well, but here we have, instead of a dense layer, we have convolution layers, okay? So let's see if you have questions with the sparse autoencoder. Do you have questions, guys? Okay, so I think it's all clear for the sparse autoencoder. I know that these tasks are not that difficult, but there are some of you that have some problems in, for example, how to take the input layers, or how can I reverse my lists and my hidden layers, etc. Okay, so let's finish with this task. Okay, Iman, I don't know the exact problem that you are having. Can you be more specific, please? So is it just stopping? Is it an early stopping or something like this? Okay, Iman, I think it's a bit weird. So do you have a green checker? Okay, just do a screenshot. Okay, so I will see you with you on Slack, okay? Okay, so let's move on to my convolution autoencoder. So it's as the name says, it's about using images. Okay, so we are going to use filters and convolutions, etc. Okay, so let's start with my encoder part. So as the first one, my input will be an input layer. Okay, so my shape will be my input dimensions. Okay, so this is for the first layer. I'm going to call my x for the next layers. My x at first will be my input. And then I'm going to loop this time over the filters. So I'm going to call it f in filters. Okay, okay, so my first layer will be a convolution layer. Okay, so my convolution layer will take f for the filters, will take a kernel size Okay, so the kernel size for my each convolution in the encoder should use a kernel size of 3 by 3 and same padding and a ReLU activation function. So my kernel size will be 3 by 3. Okay, my padding will be same. Okay, my activation will be the ReLU activation function. Okay, so this one will take my input, my X. Okay. Okay, so this is for the convolution layer. Then after the convolution layer, it should be followed by a max pooling layer of size 2 by 2. So my next X will be a max pooling layer. Okay. Okay, so tf.keras dot layers, which is a max pooling layer. Okay, the size will be 2 by 2. And the padding is going to be same. So we don't want the size to or the dimension to be modified here. And then it will receive my convolution layer. Okay. So this is for my let's say hidden layers, my hidden convolution layers. Sorry. And then for the output, it's going to be X. Okay, and then let's construct our encoder model. Encoder is the tf.keras.model, which will have as input my input and as output my final output. Okay. Okay, so this is for the encoder. Now let's move to the decoder model. Okay, so my decoder model will have as the encoder, it will have, let's say, input 2 is going to be tf.keras.layers .input. So this is my input layer. Okay, so it will have the shape here. For the decoder, it will be the latent space. Latent dimension. Okay, this is my input. My X will be this input. Now I'm going to loop over the filter, but in from the last to the first one. But here in your task, it says that we need to have the before, let's say the second to last convolution should be instead using valid padding. Okay, so the last and the before that layer, we cannot use it in this loop. Okay, so I'm going to loop, let's reverse it for now. Reversed my reversed filters, but I'm not going to take the first filter, which is in my decoder would be the last. Okay, so I'm going to call it filters from 1 to the end. Okay, so here we don't have the last filter, which is the first one in my lists of filters. Okay, and then the output will be the next part to do. Okay, so this is the first. This is my loop. My first layer in this loop will be a convolution layer. It will take my f for the filters. My kernel size here will be the same as my encoder. So it's going to be 3 by 3. Okay. My padding will be the same. My activation will be review. Okay. Okay. This is the second layer in the hidden convolution layers will be here. They said it will be followed by upsampling of size 2 by 2. Okay, so my X will be an upsampling layer. I think it should be written like this. Yes. Okay, it will have the size 2 by 2. And then it will receive my convolution layer, which is X. Okay guys, so here I forgot to put my my X. Okay. Okay, so these are for the hidden layers. Now let's move to the second from the last one, which will have the valid padding. Okay, so X will be a convolution layer. Okay, so my conv2d layer will have as filters my first filter in my lists. Okay, so filters of 0. Okay, my kernel size will be 3 by 3. And my padding will be the same. The activation will be, so the activation will be as usual my review activation function. Okay, and it will receive my X. Okay. Now the last thing will be my upsampling for this layer. My upsampling will be like the first one's 2 by 2, and it will receive my X. Okay, so this is for the second to last. Now the output, I'm going to call it output 2. My output 2 will be a convolution layer. Okay, so my last one, the last convolution should have the same number of filters as the number of channels. Okay, so we need to take the number of channels of my input as number of filters, and then I would use the sigmoid activation function and now upsampling. Okay, so my filter will be here, my number of channels of my input, which is the third dimension, okay, of my input. So it's going to be the second axis, okay. This is for the filter. The kernel size will be 3 by 3. The activation will be a sigmoid. And my padding, as it didn't say that it would be valid, so I'm going to put it the same. Okay, so we need the same dimension. Okay, and it will take my x. This is my output. Okay, so I am going to construct now my decoder model. It's going to take my inputs equals to my input, my first input, my input layer, my first input in the encoder, and as I already said, the output will be the let's say the encoder wrapped with the decoder. Okay. Is there some questions, guys? Sorry, here the decoder will have just the output, okay? So the autoencoder will be the encoder wrapped with the decoder. Sorry, guys. So it's going to take the output 2 and the input 2. Okay, so this is for the decoder. Now let's move to the autoencoder. I'm going to call it auto. Okay, so it's going to take the input, the first input, and the input, the decoder applied to the encoder of the first input. Okay, now I'm going to construct my compiler. The optimizer will be Adam, and the loss will be binary cross entropy. Cross entropy. Hope that I didn't write it wrong. Okay, and then I will return the three models: my encoder, my decoder, and my autoencoder. So I hope I didn't do something wrong. This is your test function, your test code in the project. Okay. Okay, so I put grass. Just a second, guys. Can you see the error that I did, guys? Okay, so the last layer is padding. Is this what are you saying, guys? Yes, this one. Sorry, guys. Yes, it was the mistake. It's so weird because it works in the first tasks, but I don't know. Maybe in the convolution layers, it shouldn't have the parameters. Okay, thank you, Iman. Okay, guys, so it works. It should have the same results as the previous tasks. Okay, so do you have some questions? I mean, for the autoencoder, for the principle of the autoencoder, for the formula or something like this? I know that these tasks, the three tasks, isn't that hard, okay, but the tricky one is the last one, but unfortunately I can't correct it right now. If you still have problems, you might ask on Slack. I will check with you, Hawla, the red checker, because there are some, let's say, some tricky things in the code or in the mathematical formula that you should do. Okay. Otherwise, if you still need this task, the final task to be corrected, I will be happy to, but after the second deadline. Okay. Okay. So this is my output. Okay, so we have these original images, and these one are the let's say the reformed or the reconstructed images. Okay. Okay, so the main goal of the autoencoder is to try to reconstruct the input so that we can have let's say compressed data at the middle of the autoencoder, but there are several other applications like the noise detection or the for example, for the variational autoencoder to generate other images that it never exists before, etc. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. It's interesting as project, this one, the autoencoder, especially the variational autoencoder. Okay. Okay, thank you, Michael, thank you, Iman, and thank you, Hawla, for attending this session. As I said, if you have any questions, just ask it on Slack, okay?